Just I want you to take your arm and just swipe all of the contents on the mat just off the table.
Let's fucking go! Yeah.
Tank Month comes to a close, this time with a focus on our Arena of Escalation. If you're new to the arena, it is a new slow-grow army building challenge with 11 fellow colleagues here at the Army Painter participating, including 2 first-time painters. One of them is Danni, a member of our talented video duo who is getting started with a stark black and yellow Leagues of Votann army. He's progressing nicely in his hobby, but before he tackled painting the towering land fortress model, his first large vehicle, he sought out some help by none other than our lead studio painter, Thomas. Join the fun as Danni paints his first ever tank.
Hi, I'm Danni. I'm a videographer here at the Army Painter. Not painted a lot of miniatures, so the Leagues of Votann are my first 40k unit, and I am going to paint this huge land fortress together with Thomas, or at least he'll help me out get started on how to do it.
We're gonna do it in a traditional way with a few tricks added to that. I think it's always cool to show people getting into the hobby the magic of the different tricks that we can use on painting miniatures, and especially on vehicles. We get to go all around the products that we have in the range.
So Thomas, what would be the best approach to tackle this big land fortress?
I think Stefan did us a favor in assembling this, because as you can see, it's gonna be easy to paint it sub-assembled, and that's by far the easiest for stuff like this. When it comes to painting yellow over black, that's usually not a very easy thing to do.
So I've noticed.
Yep. I would maybe start with painting the panels that you want yellow with a gray color first, and then that would make it a lot easier to get up to the bright yellow that you got on your beautiful Votann people. And then finishing it off with some weathering, that's always the fun part, for me at least. I think we have a master plan, so maybe we should just get going.
Det er mest heroppe i toppen.
Så skal der bare en kroner for fanden, mand. Det er det, os andre, vi gør.
Det var så sejt ud.
Ja.
Os andre, det er kun dig. De andre har da pænt hår.
Emotional damage!
We talked about yesterday how we wanted to approach it, and we agreed on a good plan that we would start with a dry brush with a deep gray for all the areas that you want to keep black. Do you want me to show you
Yes,
the
please.
first bit?
Yes, please.
So what we want to do is make sure that we hardly have any paint left in the bristles, and just carefully brush on top. It won't feel like you get anything on the model, but just you wait and I'll show you. This is so rewarding. I'm actually not sure that you get to try this.
I'll go and paint something at your place then.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll give it a try.
A bit more. Yeah, do it. Make sure you brush the other way around as well. Yeah, and then yeah. The good thing about this is if you screw up somehow, and you would at some point.
I will screw up, yes.
Yes, then we can just go with a matte black and cover it up. It's not a big deal. The most important thing is that you try this and see the effect of it.
Yeah.
Next step would be to begin painting the metals.
Yeah, the roll cage or these parts right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
We actually have a pretty good brush that could help you. We have a few. You can either use the regiment brush, or you can try this. I know this is actually for dry brushing, but it's really good for stuff like that. It covers a lot more than the regiment brush.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'll give them a go.
Yeah. And just dip your brush in water before you do it, and just, yeah, look at the coverage. Even when wet, the paint covers that well over black.
I think I got the hang of this.
Yeah.
So see you in 5 to 10 minutes maybe.
Yep.
Maybe an hour. I don't know how long this
You
will
can just
take.
call me
I'll
when
poke you
are.
when I need the next step.
Yep. I can take a hint.
You're a busy man, I know.
I think you just want peace and quiet while painting it.
I'm done with the gunmetal. Also did
The hubcaps.
the hubcaps and some of the details on the guns.
Yeah. Makes it
Well,
stick out a bit more.
yeah.
That's good. Looks good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so the next step would be to give the metal a wash. I always use dark tone,
Yeah.
especially if it's just gonna be plain metal. So yeah, you want to cover it in dark tone and be aware of any poolings. You want to even that out with the brush once it settles a bit more. So this is to make sure that we have all the areas where there will be sort of a shadow,
Yeah.
and then we'll define the metal again with a highlight, and then you'll have a really striking metallic look. Awesome. Well, you're on a roll. You covered all the metal and it looks really good.
Thank you.
A bit dulled down, and that's what we want to correct a bit right now with a highlight on all the metal that you just washed. It's important that you only do it on the top part of it.
Yeah.
So when you paint it, make sure you just brush it on top like this.
Okay.
Then you'll have the highlights all around, and it will pop a bit more.
Okay.
Instead of using gunmetal, I would use plate mail metal
Yeah.
to get a bit more contrast. You can see the difference between the two beams now already.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah, that's what you're aiming for.
So next step is to paint. That's how
Paint
you-
all the panels that you want yellow.
Yeah.
And I know that Warpaints Fanatic covers really well, even over black, but the shortcut is always using a gray before you paint
Okay.
yellow. I was gonna say something clever about using the dry brushes for that, because you're really good at it, but you just started using it, so
Oh yeah.
I considered yelling at you because you used the dry brush.
You can do that.
No. And just cover all the panels that you want yellow, and all the other surfaces if you want any, I guess, on the weapons and stuff. The gray was a good trick, and now we can have a look at how well the yellow covers on the gray panels. Same procedure. It's better with 2 thin coats than 1 thick one.
Is it too thin down or is it fine?
No, it's fine. Next step would be, because it looks really good with the yellow and the black, but we wanna put a bit more color into it, and I think some dark rust would be good. And we'll do a thin down version of it, 2 parts water to 1 part rust. I think. For it to look random and weathered, we just dab it on. It'll look a bit messy to begin with, but once it dries a bit darker than you can see now.
Okay.
What I do is I usually turn the brush while I do it, because then you get some random patterns on.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see up here. And that's basically it.
Cool. Yeah. I'll give it a go.
This is looking really good. You did well on this. I think the next few steps would be to take the fresh rust, thin it down the same way, and then give it a go a bit further down, so you get a gradient like this would be the fresh dirt and grime, and the dark rust would be, dried.
Yeah.
Going further up. You can still use this for on the metallic parts or in the joints. Next thing is going to be a new thing. We're gonna sponge some chipping. I usually use a very dark brown for it, so we'll take the darkest one we have, Brigandine Brown. Carefully dab it on. Don't move it just directly down. If you press too hard, you'll smush it out instead of making this fine chipping thing. Because this will help break up the surface of the yellow panels and make it look, worn and used.
Looks really cool.
Yeah, and it's quite easy. Of course, all the edges would normally be where you chip off the paint, and the corners especially. So you can do a little more on the corners. Looks really good. Most people have a tendency to press too hard when they do it. This looks really good.
Thank you.
You can put a bit more on, but that's totally up to you, and it's cool that you're careful in the beginning, and then you can,
Always add more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next thing I would do, shining silver for the black parts. When you use this chipping thing, will function almost as a highlight, so you can use it to define the panels a bit more. This goes on a bit easier than the brown one, so be more careful with this one. The hardest part is to control yourself and not overdo it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can't believe I have to stand and watch while he does all the fun. Now it's just the icing on the cake, so to speak. I would do a few rust runners from the scratches and maybe from some of the bolts, maybe not all of them. What you do is you take the thinned down dark rust and you make sure you have something in around the bolt. Then you just paint it down and then use your finger to fade it out, because a rust runner would never just stop abruptly.
No.
It would always fade out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, try not to make it only at the bolts.
No.
Yeah, and maybe do a few where you have the scratches as well.
Yeah.
And be aware that you don't do it with the same amount of spacing between everyone, because then it just looks like a different pattern.
Okay.
But yeah, make it look random.
Oops. There's a big one there.
Let me just zoom in on the mistake.
No, there's no mistakes. I have to clean that up. Cut.
What you did was really, really cool. How do you like it?
I like it a lot. I mean, still some room for improvement, but
I think.
But as a first time doing a vehicle, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think this looks really, really good. Like, this is how I would have painted it, I think. Of course, now you can just go nuts with all the small details in the cockpit and stuff like that. But I'll leave that to you, and you can just go nuts on those things. I think for the most part on the outside, I would leave it as is. Maybe we can have a look at putting on some transfers at some point, but
yeah,
I think this is absolutely awesome work.
Thank you very much.
You did really well.
I'll try to finish up on the details, and we'll see how it looks in the end.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Thomas, what do you think?
I think you did a really, really good job. I think it looks amazing. I think this absolutely looks like something I would have painted.
Oh, I take that as high praise.
You should. No, but honestly, I think this is really well done.
Thank you.
What do you think was the hardest part of it?
Definitely the smaller details, keeping the brush steady and stuff like that. But again, when you paint like this vehicle, it's like it's easier to fix the mistakes because the surfaces are bigger.
Yeah, and it is forgiving to paint with a certain amount of weathering as well.
Yeah.
That can cover up some of the mistakes, which is why I think it's one of the most fun way to paint.
Yeah.
What did you actually find the most fun thing about this paint?
I really enjoyed using the rust effects, because when you put the rust effects on, it looks like nothing really is gonna happen. But when it dries and you put the fresh rust on it afterwards, it looks really amazing.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the weathering and the chipping, especially.
I agree. What's next then?
Next for me is painting a combat patrol, which also have some smaller vehicles and a lot of new units I haven't tried yet, so I'm really looking forward to that.
You ready to be on your own then?
I can always come knock on your door, right?
Absolutely.
Follow along with all of our Arena of Escalation hobby progress or join in from home using hashtag Arena of Escalation. And to learn more about the amazing products used in this tutorial from our Warpaints Fanatic range, as well as our industry-leading speed paints, Warpaints Air, color primers, and our full range of high-quality paints and accessories designed to make miniature painting simple, fast, and fun, learn more at your friendly local game store, preferred online retailer, or at www.thearmypainter.com.
I think I've washed more miniatures than underpants. I think I've weathered about the same. Guess we can't use that.
I will try.